Oh, yeah, we gotta turn that off. Should we turn that off?
Yeah.
Yeah, just for noise. Yeah. I don't want to, but we should. Oh, other one. Why is it so short?
Jeez, man.
Oh. It's because Paul's so tall. He's just like, I don't gotta fucking worry.
Yeah, I don't. Why do I care?
That man's a giraffe.
That's funny.
He's a, but I mean, don't get it twisted, Paul. You're a beautiful giraffe, but like, you're
a tall boy.
He's a tall boy. He's a glorious beast of a man. All of that got recorded.
Good.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Music Chronicles podcast. I am one of your hosts, Angelo, joined, as always, by our other co-host, Shane Holmunez. How is it going, man?
Do you want the honest answer, or just the...
Whatever you are comfortable with.
It's going great.
Okay.
It's going awesome, man.
Okay. Yeah, it's going all right for me, too, man.
Well, I mean, as far as, like, the projects and stuff we're working on, great.
Oh, yeah, fantastic.
I have no problems with anything that I'm so excited for all the stuff that's coming up, man.
Yeah, because we've been really kind of experimenting a lot with, doing more things on social media and just trying new things that we've never really, we just haven't tried before. And now we're kind of, just working on getting more engagement, especially now that, shows are going to start ramping up again soon. It's been cool.
I've been making memes.
Yeah, you've been memeing real hard, man. It's been great.
Real hard. It's been fun. It's different, like you said. It's just a completely different avenue than we've ever taken. But I will say, it's getting us some views.
Yeah, it's working.
Views are happening. It's different, but
yeah. And ever since you started doing that, I've been noticing, like, going through Instagram that we're definitely not the only band that does that by posting just music related memes or band related memes, and
because it's a niche. It's something that a lot of people aren't gonna understand. Right off the bat.
It's something kind of more that just people of our generation, in their 20s, would kind of be more into, or younger, so it's
I'm almost out of my 20s.
I don't think about it. Don't think about it too much.
Not too much.
Dude, I mean, I freak about it. Even though I'm younger than you, I freak out about it. The fact that I'm already past the halfway point of my 20s now, and only by a year. But
oh yeah.
But it's just I don't know. Let's not think about it.
Let's just
stop talking.
Moving on.
Yeah.
No, but there's a lot of things going on. I think we're just gonna jump right into it and just talk about the personnel change a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we kind of have to. Yeah.
Yeah. So last time that we did a podcast, we had, God, I'm sweating. It's so hot in here.
I know.
Last time we did a podcast, we had Andrew in our band.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point in time, we don't have him in the band.
Yep.
We do not have him in the band anymore. Some stuff has come up with him, and he got an opportunity that he couldn't refuse. I get it. I understand it. And he was just straight up with us about it, and he came straight to us and told us, we were having rehearsal one day, and before it even started, he's like, "Hey, you might want to sit down."
Yeah, hey, I have some news, guys, and it's definitely been a little odd not having him in in the band anymore, but we're all really happy for him. He got a really great opportunity. I won't go into very any details about it, just to be
if you know
private.
him and you want to know, then message him.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, no, he had a really, like you said, he had a really good opportunity that just, honestly, it wouldn't have made sense for him to pass up. Mm-hmm. And, he finished out the shows that he had booked with us, and, everything's all good. It's really, it's nice that even though, he, did end up having to leave, it was nice, just the way he had to leave was if you have to leave, your band for whatever reason, this is the way you do it. It's, he left in the best way possible, and we're all still really good friends with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, he did it right.
That was my computer.
That was
sorry.
Loud.
It was really loud. I'm so sorry.
But I'll be bringing that down.
Yeah, really. Oh my God.
No,
I have to make a note of that now.
He did it the right way, for sure. I mean, he came straight to us. We've got nothing but respect for for that. And bro, we appreciate you doing it the way you did, man.
Yeah, for real, man.
You could have done it another way, and you didn't. So.
Yeah, and I mean, if since we're starting off talking about Andrew a little bit, I mean, if we can talk about like how fucking like important he was to the band and like helping us build build our sound, build our image, build our stage presence. Like it was like it can't be understated.
It was a monster on stage.
Absolutely. And if you see any footage of him that is like floating around on our social media or on YouTube in general, it's like, or especially if you were
got to go to the shows.
If you got to go to the shows, yeah, like he was like quite the presence on stage, and he was like super fun to work with and hang out with.
Extremely reliable too.
Yeah,
as a member of a band, like you want to make sure that you can rely on somebody who's going to be there on time. Who's he was always at the gigs plenty early. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He helped with everything, so he was just a great asset to have in any band.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if anybody ever asks, like, hey, I was talking to Andrew, he was going to join my band and all that stuff, I would just say, yeah, scoop him up while you can.
Yeah, for real.
Because he's a beast. He's got amazing stage presence.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at the camera just then, just because I like bumped into the table, and we're kind of on a rickety little table right now. So I'm just like, oh god, how bad did that shake the camera?
You can see we're in a different spot. We're actually in our rehearsal space.
Yeah,
we're in the studio right now.
Yeah, trying something a little different.
Yeah, just seeing how it goes.
Yeah, this way we don't have to worry about your cats, even though.
In spirit, they're messing with us right now.
I was about to say, like, I mean, even though it's good that we don't have to worry about like, corralling your cats or like having Jen corral the cats, like it, like a part of me is a little sad that we want to have that because there were some like funny moments of the cats. Who knows? On the podcast.
We'll probably end up back over at my place at some point.
Yeah,
but
yeah, because right now, I mean, the podcast doesn't necessarily have like a like a home base. I mean, like. We as the band do, like this studio that you're seeing in the background, we have a home space, but like we can really just set up and do this anywhere. We don't really have to have.
We have your laptop. We've got phones.
We have phones. We have our interface.
It's a pretty
We're good,
primitive setup, but it gets the job done.
Yeah. So. I mean, not as primitive as it was for sure.
It's true.
Yeah, because literally before
USB mics and whatnot.
Yeah, like literally before it was just like me in my bedroom, like with a USB mic. You know, but yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, it has come a long ways from where it was.
Oh,
but
for sure.
I still have tons of like visions as to what it's going to be.
Oh, absolutely. Well. Same here. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just kind of to finish up the whole thing with Andrew, man.
Yeah.
Like, there really aren't any hard feelings. Like we feel good about it. He left us in a place to where we could actually move forward with a product, with something palatable, something that we can actually promote and do something with.
Yeah.
And so yeah, bro. Much love, bro.
Like, man.
But kind of segueing off of that, we right after he left, we kind of went into like a panic mode at first.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of like, what the hell are we going to do right now? And
literally anybody in a band I think can relate to this, anytime like a member has to, go for whatever reason, it's always like a question of like, crap, everybody relies on each other so much. It's like, what's our next move? What do we got to do?
Because we don't use clicks, at least at the moment we don't.
Not at the moment.
And we don't use backing tracks. I don't think we ever will when it comes to backing tracks for like whole parts, like guitar parts or different things like that. Maybe synths.
Yeah, nothing.
Production stuff, maybe.
Yeah, nothing to the point where like we have to like rely on it.
Right.
But like at the very least, like maybe in the future, like something that can help, like kind of a, I don't know what the word is. Just I guess just enhance our show.
Exactly.
Just that little bit more.
Well, in that the other thing is like, we don't want to make it to where when we go to a show and our laptop dies, we can't do the show.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I don't ever want to do that.
We need to be a band in a position where if something happens and our click dies,
we can just do it how we have been. Yeah.
So that's one thing that we've all talked about and we want to keep pretty true.
Yeah, and just sort of like just figuring out ways to it's kind of like going back to the social media thing, just trying to try new things and sort of expand our show and, you know, expand our presence and just make it all the more stronger, you know?
But going off of, you know, the fact that we don't use computers and different things like that and rely on those, it also makes it to where we have to rely on each other. We have to rely on the musicians next to us and behind us and in front of us. So it's, you know, when we lost Andrew, he helped us create so many like iconic little parts in our songs that we all listen for.
Yeah.
They help us stay on time, and we had to kind of adapt and figure out how to listen for other parts in order to stay on time or realize where we're at in each song.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we still did rehearsals. We still, you know, it was 3-man rehearsals we did. We were very, we have never been a band to like, well, you know, we don't have that member, so now we can't do rehearsal. It's like we figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, as long as like, you know, as long as it's just more than one person, we can always figure something out. Like even if it's just like, you know, only 2 of us can make rehearsal, we put in the work and we make it happen.
Yeah.
You know,
we need to all stay up on our chops, and we all have jobs and things that are going on, and it's really easy for anybody in any band, especially people with kids and families and stuff like that. I mean, luckily at this point, none of us have, well, Josue kind of does.
I was about to say, I'm like, well, you know.
Josue kind of does.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. And he does a really good job of like balancing all that and being there for his family, for his little family.
Yeah.
And but none of us have like strenuous like, oh man, I can't make rehearsal, because like we make it happen.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, you know, in between all that, we did what we talked about when it came to, you know, after Andrew left, kind of being in that weird, what do we do next sort of stage. We were like, we're going to take the time and audition people.
Yeah.
And we did auditions. And, you know, there were a lot of people who we talked to who either couldn't come in or who came in and it just didn't work out. But, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody who came through the door and did an audition with us had the same opportunity. Like, we called them and even asked them in general because we knew they had potential to be able to fill that spot. Yeah. And Andrew's shoes are big shoes to fill, man.
They are, man. It's like no joke. And it was very it was very weird, like going through like an audition process, because that's just something that, I mean, you know, like I'm not really used to, because the thing is, when Andrew joined, you know, it was like there wasn't really an audition. Like we had already kind of jammed with them a little bit during a sound check once, and you know, we were all kind of like, you know, buddies, and you know, basically him and Anthony, our first bass player, like would rehearse together, so it was 5 people.
Oh yeah.
And like it would, you know, 2 bass players, and it was basically like Anthony was teaching the parts to Andrew, you know, right then and there. So it's like we never really had an audition, and now all of a sudden like we're having to do auditions. So it's just
that
weird.
was really a first for all of us. It wasn't just for you either, because every member that we've ever had, we called.
Yeah.
You included.
Yeah, even though we didn't know each other, like I put up a flyer.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you called me and
Now you did come in and you did audition.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a lineup of people that we were auditioning.
Yeah.
Like,
y'all were just like, let's try this guy.
Let's just try it out. And it worked out so well.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't.
Here we are years later. Yeah. I mean,
doing a podcast.
Doing a podcast and different projects and shows and social media management and all this other shit that we got to do, you know?
And you know, it just worked out. You know, I had no idea when I called you that it would turn into what it has.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, I'm sure you can say the same.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You know, that's the thing though, is like we're extremely loyal to the people that we like come to know and come to love.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with Andrew too. I mean, it's always been like, okay, whenever we got to start knowing Andrew, and there was that time where, you know, because he was our sound guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When Anthony couldn't make it that night for rehearsal over at the studio or at the theater, and whenever that happened, I mean, Andrew was a bass player. He's like, I could run home and grab my bass.
Yeah.
And I'll be right back. I live like right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, we need a sound check. We need to get some sort of signal going through. So sure.
Yeah.
And so he went and got his bass, and I think Paul took over on the board for a little bit to try and get a sound. I can't remember, or he was running back and forth.
Yeah.
But either way, he was up there on stage with us, and me and Josue looked over at each other, and we were like, "This feels right.
Yeah.
This is weird, but it feels right."
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like the first time that I'd kind of like had that little spark, like maybe this is our new bass player.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, at that point we still had
we still had Anthony, but it was like in the back of our minds was like, well, if anything does happen, at the very least we have somebody in mind,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And as soon as Anthony quit, that was the first person that came to mind. And, and it ended up working out because still got to give Anthony credit. He he finished out the 2 shows.
Yeah.
And, looking back on I was just talking to Josue about this the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony wrote some of the best bass parts.
Oh, absolutely he did.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Like, I look back on those songs, like Louder Than Words is my favorite bass line.
Yeah,
ever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I still listen to that, and it still plays in my head all the time.
And even same with like Viper as well.
Yeah.
Because that I really love Viper because like a lot of a good chunk of that song, it's basically just the rhythm section, just kind of jamming out together, the bass and the drums, just really getting to.
It's smooth. It's really smooth.
It's very smooth. Yeah, it's something that we ended up crafting together, and it was like it was really nice. Yeah.
And I mean, and that was the thing. Anthony's mindset when it came to bass parts a lot of the times was, I just don't want to do what the guitars are doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know the full intention behind it, but I will say the application worked very well.
It did, yeah, because it ended up creating some really cool, unique parts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always got to give him that due credit because it's hands down. He turned into a really great bass player.
He did, yeah.
And then we, after he quit, we moved on to Andrew, and Andrew, he liked to do a lot of octave work.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff that he did was like, because he had a 6-string bass, so he had so much capability to do a lot of different things.
Yeah, one of which he gave to Anthony as well. He sold
he
sold to Anthony. Towards the end of Anthony being in the band. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's a beautiful bass as well.
It is, yeah.
But nothing beats that beast of a bass that he ended up getting.
Yeah,
that Jens Ritter.
The Jens Ritter, yeah.
Oh man, 6-string with a tremolo, just incredible piece of art that he got to play on stage. And what's funny, kind of not sidetracked, but I was talking to Hefe the other day, and he was like, "Where's he staying at?" I'm like, "Oh," and he's like, "Oh, I know guys out there. Maybe I can if he's interested in looking for a band, maybe I can." So I was like, "I'll ask him about it." And I asked him about it, and he was like, "That's interesting. Maybe." Yeah. So he might end up, he might be looking for a band here very soon.
Yeah. Who knows?
But I think so. Yeah, we went through a few people. I don't know exactly how many people we had come in.
Yeah.
Not like a huge amount of people, but we had a lot of people interested, and there was a lot of people we talked about, and we're like, meh.
Yeah.
Or there was a lot of people we talked about, like, absolutely, that could work. I'm not going to drop any names here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, I think based on when we're dropping this.
Based. Got him.
Okay. All right. But I think
you were saying
based on when we're gonna drop this, I think we're safe to move on to the next part.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, leading into that, we've kind of we've addressed Andrew not being in the band, and we even talked about Anthony a little bit as well.
Well, and but the thing is, what's funny is both the bass players that have come after Anthony, we met because of the film festival.
That's true. Yeah. I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's I was thinking about that the other day. So keep going.
Yeah. So Yeah, like you were saying, through the film festival, we've talked a lot about on the podcast before, but as once again, our manager and producer Paul like runs this local film festival here in Huntsville, Texas. And you have the Prison City Film Festival, which they have a lot of great filmmakers come out, actors, whatever. And in both those instances, we met Andrew because he was doing sound, and then on one of them, I don't remember which one, but we also met our new bass player, Q.
Yeah, so we we met him, I think it was like the first or second year. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but he was with a stunt crew.
Yeah.
He was a stunt man, and I think he's still technically part of that stunt crew, though I don't think he's done some stuff with them in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he was, and they did like this. I don't want to call it performance, but it was
like a demonstration.
Yeah. It was a demonstration, and I think Q wasn't even able to make it to that demonstration. He had to come like the next day, but he was still part of the group. And I mean, we just kicked it off right away.
Yeah, Q is like, oh, man.
He's one of the bros.
Yeah, Q's so fucking great, man. Like, I remember like we were out over at Sam's table, and like I was kind of like getting to know him a little bit, and we talked a lot about like coffee, for instance. He and I are both big coffee drinkers, and like he was basically like selling me on like trying to get like a French press and actually like press my own beans and all that stuff. And get away from like Folgers or like just like basic stuff like that, which I still haven't done, but which I still have not done. But at the very least, he did spark that interest in me. So maybe at some point I will. And we talked a lot about like like Dream Theater and like Foo Fighters and other shit as well.
He's got so many
very easy to
interests.
talk to. Very easy to talk to. Such a chill guy.
He's such a people person too, man. He's like you said, just super chill. Mm-hmm. And so he obviously has like a background in film and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And obviously we all know Jen does movie makeup.
Yeah.
So whenever she got asked to do Carnage Radio, well, if you go back and you watch that episode of the episode with, I think Jen or James Fight is one of the two, I can't remember, but we were showing pictures of Jen doing makeup on somebody in a chair.
Yeah.
And in the background, you see Q.
Yeah.
Because Q was the stunt coordinator for Carnage Radio as well. And
he also had like a little cameo in it at one point as like I think some guy who was being loaded into an ambulance or something like that.
No.
It was something like that.
He was the grieving husband.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The girl who gets killed in the beginning.
Spoilers, but yeah.
Either way, I mean, you see him for like a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
I mean,
of course,
he's there and then he's not there.
Yeah.
And then you see like a picture of them too. But so whenever Jen was working on Carnage Radio, me and Paul drove up to Big Spring and hung out there for like a day or two. And the reason I knew that Q even played bass was because whenever I went out there, it's really hard for me to go anywhere without a guitar.
Yeah.
Even for a day or two. I mean, I just especially if I'm going to be like going out and like hanging out with people.
Right, yeah.
I'll go off in the corner and just play guitar, and if people want to come over to me and hang out, cool. I don't like bothering big groups of people with it, but I just like to have a little escape if I need to to go and like just be creative and play guitar. So whenever Q heard that I had my guitar, he was like, "Dude, I have my bass with me."
Ooh, nice.
And I was like, "What? We should definitely jam."
Yeah.
So we went to the Airbnb after they got done filming and everybody got done hanging out, and he pulled out his acoustic bass, which it's the same one that we played the acoustic show with. And yeah, we just jammed, and I could see this dude, he's a good player.
Yeah.
Like, and he's a singer too. Like that's the other thing, is he's got a good
he's a
voice.
great singer, yeah.
And I mean, when I heard him singing, I was like, damn, this guy's got it going on.
Yeah.
Like, he's legit. And so immediately, like, I respected him as a musician, like, right away.
Yeah.
And so, fast forward a ways, I don't know, a year or two. I don't even know how long. I'm horrible with dates and times and stuff like that. But fast forward, Andrew, comes in and says, "Hey guys, I gotta go. I'm moving."
Yeah.
And so we were like, "Okay, like, what are we gonna do?" And for how long was it? A couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we were.
It was at least it was longer than that. It had to be a month or so.
Like it was maybe nearly a month, but yeah, we were kind of stressing about this for a little while, and I'm trying to position my mic where it's not all in my face, but I also need to get close to it. But anyway, we were kind of, this was something that we were kind of worried about for a little while, about like figuring out what to do, and I remember we went out to the movies. I can't remember. I keep forgetting what movie it was we were going to see. Was it the Five Nights at Freddy movie?
It was Five Nights at Freddy's.
I remember it now. Thankfully on
camera. So there we go. We've got the timeline. Five Nights at Freddy's was in the theater.
Yeah. And we were like, we saw the movie, and it was you, me, Jen, and Isaac.
Yeah.
And we were all kind of like in the car, just kind of like just chatting about things, and of course because
probably
we're
bitching a lot.
We're probably bitching a lot, but yeah, of course since we're you and I are both like stressing about this a lot, of course it comes up. They're like, man, what are we gonna do now? We don't have Andrew. Like, what's next? Blah 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 blah. And like, I want to say it was Jen who was like. Like Jen, like after some talking about it, like, and like trying to figure out people to like call in to like to do auditions, like Jen was like, what about Q? Doesn't Q play bass?
I just went, bing!
Yeah. And you got like quiet, and you're like, oh.
I was like, wait a minute. He does.
There is something there.
And I've experienced playing with him before.
Yeah.
And not only have I experienced playing with him, but like he can keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying we're great or anything, but at the same time, it's like we play faster stuff at times.
Yeah.
And I could see like, this guy, he's got it going on. And go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, all I was gonna say, like, to add on to that, it's not like saying that we're like the most like technical like people in the world or the fastest, whatever the fuck. But like,
no.
But like, it's just if you're we have a style that we play and that we thrive in, and not everybody does. They thrive in other styles. That's and so it's just always kind of like. A question of like, if you have to bring somebody in, it's like, well, are they going to be used to the way that we do things, or can they do things the way that we do things?
Right. Yeah, and so it's all about adaptability.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Because the one thing I thought that I heard from him even back then was like he'd never played metal before, right? But I knew he played rock.
Yeah.
He played like hard rock.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not a hard leap.
No, that's that's a pretty solid foundation to like jump from. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, that's my foundation. I really did not. I mean, like I believe I've talked about this on the podcast before. I did not really get into metal until very later. Like I literally like right before I met y'all. Like maybe like
it's so funny.
Like maybe like months or a year before I met you guys, I started to like dip my toes into metal because I just wanted to get better at the drums, and I was like, well. Metal guys really seem to, have it going on. Let me go down this avenue. And then I met you guys, and then
it's the thing that I always like to like attribute it to is musical freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You have the freedom to fit as many notes as you possibly can fit.
Yeah, and I'm allowed to hit as hard as I want.
Exactly. And you hit hard.
Yeah. Thank you.
But we were just sitting in the car. Like after the movie, we get in the car, we're talking, and Jen brings up, what about Q?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what about Q? What about Q?
Yeah.
What about Q?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that's...
Like, there was, like, levels to it, like,
I was like, he's got, he's a bass player.
Yeah.
I know that. He's got a great voice. I know that. Super reliable. I can understand why he would be that. I hadn't had experience like that yet with him, but I knew that, if he was going to be on a movie set and do all that stuff, he's going to be a reliable guy.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the safety of others.
Mm-hmm.
Being the stunt coordinator.
Yeah, of course.
You got to have a reliable dude. Like that all these things played into that one moment of all the gears turning in my head of like, wow, like there's so many pros. And I was like, all right, what are the cons? And I was like, he lives in Houston.
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a big drive,
Yeah.
But that was like the only thing
that was
I
really
could think
the only
of.
thing,
I was like, the commute's gonna suck.
Yeah.
And
I'm
but the thing
sure
is,
it sucks way worse than my commute.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's like I do live like far, quote unquote. I do live kind of far, but the drive is like really easy. Like
You've
it's
gotten
not
so
bad
used
at
to
all.
it at this point now.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I also was already going to Huntsville for school anyway, so it's just like it ended up working out where I was like, yeah, after I get out of class, I'll fucking pop over and rehearse whatever.
Yeah, and it worked out that way for a long time.
It did, yeah.
And then it's not like any of us were ever afraid of commuting. We used to go to Montgomery to commute at 2 different spots.
Yeah,
out there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just always been the thing.
Yeah,
we love music more than we hate driving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And Q's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was my one thing. And hindsight being what it is, and looking at where we are now with Q, I've never heard him complain one time.
No, never.
Never.
Which, come to think of it, how long has he been in the band now? I know. That's
I think we'll
question.
get there. I think we'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure right off the bat.
Yeah.
But as we go through the timeline, I'm sure that it'll come up.
Yeah. 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 Because I'm like trying to think about it, and I'm like, I really can't like give a specific time. It's been like a few months, maybe, but maybe I don't know.
I mean, the thing is
a couple months. I don't know.
Didn't we ask him? Oh man.
I don't know. It doesn't.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter right now, but I was just curious. It just that thought popped in my head.
But yeah, the pros and cons went through my head. It was all pros, very very little cons.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, that's the thing. The commute is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay, like it made me feel good. Like I got that really warm feeling, like that could be a really good decision. Like it just all we got to do is just see what happens. You know? And so we left the theater that day, like, at least I did, on a much higher note than when we got there.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely did as well. And it worked out really well because, speaking of the film festival in general, every year, we perform there and do something. And we had been kind of toying around the idea of maybe doing an acoustic show. I think even when Andrew was still in the band, I think we were talking about it.
I brought it up, like a couple weeks before he left.
Yeah. And so, what we ended up doing, and heck, we can even throw in some, footage, like here and there, if we want to, and like plenty of pics. Yeah, exactly, plenty of photos. So what we ended up doing was, somewhere over here, maybe.
I don't know. Remember which side I'm supposed to be.
I don't remember.
We're in a new place.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a couple months, but
I'm gonna say here.
Yeah, sure. What the hell was I saying?
You're talking about photos and videos. And
yes. So, so it ended up working out with the film festival because we had planned to do an acoustic show, and we decided to, like, before we actually like officially auditioned Q to be in the band, we brought him in to basically work on an acoustic show together, and we made it a bit different than what we normally do. It wasn't just us. We brought along, your wife Jen to, sing some songs with us. We brought, our friend Isaac to sing a few songs with us. And we made it sort of like a Submit Thy Will and Friends like type acoustic show, which was really great. I loved how that show turned out.
It was so fun.
It was
to
so
get ready
fun.
for as well.
And it was so different than what we're used to, but it was nice. It was really nice.
One of the things about that was, we didn't want to just, we wanted to approach it in a good way for Q because we know what we're asking. Yeah. Like the commitment that comes into being in a band, and not just in a band, but specifically our band. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot that you have to commit to in order to be a part of this machine that we're trying to create and do. Yeah. It's a lot on everybody. And especially, knowing how long the commute was going to be. Mm-hmm. I called him, now this is where timelines start to get fuzzy for me, but it was a few months, at least 3 months before. So it had to have been last year I called him because our show was in February.
Oh yeah, like towards the end of last year.
So like October or something like that.
Well,
end of October, beginning of November.
Yeah, because I was actually funnily enough, last night I was watching some like old shows and like some of our last shows. Like I was watching the 1810 Ojaman show the other night, and Yeah, because I want to say that was like the end of October was that show. I don't know when our show at Acadia.
That was our last show.
Like
with Andrew.
Yeah,
was Acadia.
Yeah, and I don't remember what day that was.
I don't either.
It was in November, I think.
November 4th.
That sounds right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, it was around October, November when I called him, and when I called him, he didn't immediately answer. He ended up calling me back, and I went out on my deck out back, and I was like, "Hey, so how you doing, man? It's been a long time since we talked and all that stuff." And he's like, "Hey, it's good to hear from you," and just pleasantries and all that stuff. And I was like, "So,
the pleasantries.
I've got a big ask.
Excuse me.
And see what."
I just wanted to. What?
Excuse me.
I coughed. I just wanted to,
that was
apologize to the lovely people at home.
I cough all the time.
It's
I know.
Little. I know.
I try and do it over here, but
yeah, I used to. I don't want to get sidetracked, but I used to bring them down a little bit in the cakewalk. Because, dude, sometimes you would. Okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack this too much, but dude, sometimes you would do them right up into the mic. It would just be a really loud. It was just like, okay, let me work with this. Okay.
Look, I'd never done podcasts before this.
I know. Neither had I.
But you enjoyed them more than I did.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Probably. Either way, so
sorry, you were saying.
I called him up and basically I offered to do. I was like, "Hey, we are doing an acoustic show at Prison City."
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd heard, but Andrew has left the band, and he's like, "No, I didn't hear." Like, dang, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
And I was like, but at that time it was like, and I think we even brought it up in the conversation, like, "Hey, this isn't me asking you to be a full-fledged member of our band. This is if you want to do an acoustic show and an acoustic set with us, we'd love to have you." And he didn't just immediately say yes, which I was really kind of happy about, because that meant that he was taking his time to think about it, and be serious and think about the pros and the cons himself. Because even back then we were still doing 3-night rehearsals.
Yeah.
Majority of the time it was 2, but because we had to flip flop and stuff with that. But I mean, we were still scheduled for 3 nights a week.
Right. Yeah.
And sure enough, man, he made it. And then, the first day, I remember when he first came in, everybody was like, "Okay," a little nervous, what's it gonna be like? We don't know.
Yeah, because we
his skill level. You guys had never seen him play.
Yeah, me and Josue had never seen him play, and I had talked to him a few times at the film festival, but I didn't really know him like you did, and of course, with everything, with Andrew, leaving and it being so fresh, it's always kind of a weird experience of okay, how is this gonna go now that there's this new person here, and he wasn't even in the band yet, and I was thinking about that.
Yeah. No, I get it. But as soon as he got here, Q was Q.
Oh yeah.
And he was just himself. He's super fun to be around.
Yeah.
Always joking. He hops in on any of the jokes.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, is we weren't used to that. I mean, Andrew, I love him, and we have our own relationship and all that stuff.
He's a very stoic dude.
Very stoic.
Yeah.
He didn't jump in on,
which I love about him, by the way.
All of the jokes that we did. He was almost like the disappointed uncle in the corner.
Yeah. But that was kind of fun.
But it was fun. Because we'd poke fun at him.
And to be fair, I think he did play into that a little bit, in his own way of and being funny, and it was really funny.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, but it was a new thing to have Q jumping out on the jokes and just continuing them out, because our jokes will go way longer than they should.
Yeah. Too far, some might say.
Yeah.
Depending on who's listening to the joke and who's telling it.
Depending on who we're around.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But either way, it was refreshing, and his skills were okay, he can absolutely do these songs. And then I started to notice how much he loved to learn our songs.
Yeah.
That was the thing that got me the most excited.
Yeah, because with the acoustic show, we, so with our normal shows, we'll do, we do the majority of the set list is our stuff, and we'll throw in 1 or 2 covers.
Yeah.
And, that's how we do pretty much all of our sets, for electric, for heavy shows. But with the acoustic show, we wanted to kind of, go for a different vibe. And,
completely different.
And so it was kind of more of an even split of, our stuff and, covers, Like probably like 60-40, you know.
Probably more covers.
Well,
than
yeah,
our stuff.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like 60-40, you know, covers leaning towards 60, you know.
Yeah, way different than what we're used to doing for a show.
Yeah, so like seeing like how much he was enjoying, like, you know, learning our stuff was really,
we did,
you know,
her serious, endless.
Was that it? Her serious endless. I feel like we're missing one.
We could be, but for sure those 3 songs. Yeah, I don't know what else it would be.
I'd have to look at the set
I think
again.
that might honestly be it.
I feel like there was one more, but I can't. Why am I blanking on it?
I don't know. I know we did "Carry Me Ohio" though, which isn't our song, but it's still.
That was a very fun one.
That was probably my favorite of the set, and even though it was an encore.
Yeah. I can't remember. We'll come back to that. Maybe.
Yeah, either way. Maybe we'll put up the set list.
Yeah, over somewhere. Over somewhere.
But yeah. So the thing is like, yeah, we were doing rehearsals, and there was 6 people in this room.
Yeah.
Which you can't tell.
Yeah, you can't tell from the limited view you have, but like
it's a 12 by 20 studio.
Yeah, and like with all the equipment that we have in here, like sometimes like even just the 4 of us can feel like
cramped.
Can feel a little cramped, like at least until we get to our spots, you know. But like yeah, with 6 people in here, it was just like, oh well, we're gonna make it work.
But we did,
and we did.
Everybody had their own spots. We had everything hooked up on the board over there, and you know we weren't going through headphones. We were going through the speakers.
Yeah. Maybe you can kind of see it on
These
your
are
side.
New.
These
were the ones we were going through.
If I lean, you can just see the door.
That's the door.
And our key holder back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good old key holder.
It is. It's a good one.
It gets the job done. But, yeah, so we were doing these rehearsals, and we were just gaining this, like, really close friendship with Q pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like the vibe was all there, and then after rehearsals, you know, we all walk out usually together, depending on if Josue's got to take a shit or not. We'll all walk out together, and then like meet up at the road, and I'll talk a little bit more before we head out. There were times that me and Q wouldn't leave until after 3 in the morning.
Y'all are fucking chatterboxes for sure,
dude. It gets to the point where me and him are like, we're so aware of it that we're like, the other night he had to leave, and then you came in, and we had to split up rehearsal that way. We'll get into that later. But whenever he was leaving, it was getting close to like, I was like, bro, we're gonna talk all night. You gotta go.
You gotta leave.
I know. We gotta check ourselves. Yeah,
because the thing is, it's like, I mean, like, you know, I don't want to speak for Josue too much, but like, I feel like he and I can get chatty depending on what we're talking about, but that's not how we naturally are.
Yeah.
You know, we're naturally a little bit like quieter than you two are, whereas like you and Q, it's like once anybody gets either of you going on something, like fucking good luck trying to get out.
It's funny because whenever you first asked me to be like a official like partner on the podcast, I was like, I wonder what, and then I didn't even finish the thought. I was like, that's why. I don't shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I don't shut up.
It makes my job so much easier. It's amazing.
Thanks, appreciate it.
It's great.
I mean, it helps at shows. I'll tell you that. Networking is something that I really enjoy doing at shows.
For sure. Yeah, that's something that I really need to get better
at it. You have gotten better at it.
I have a little bit. I have a ways to go. You know,
dude, you went to a concert with people. You know. Was it Thomas? It was Thomas you went with, right?
Sorry, out of context, that sounds so funny. It's just like, you went outside.
Yeah, exactly.
You went to a concert with human beings.
Okay.
But yes, I did.
But it was with human beings that were in the circuit that you got to know through them.
Yes, that's true. Yes, yeah.
That's a big step for you. First of all,
okay. Yes,
that's a huge step.
It absolutely is, but it's just out of context with that pause. It sounded so funny. Sorry, but I just look. I mean, just the way
Hermit here.
Yeah, the way that you know, people are wired differently, and the way that I'm wired, I'm very much like introverted. Like once I'm around like my circle of people, that's when my extroverted side really, you know, comes out. But it's very difficult for me to like really show my extroverted nature to people who I'm not like insanely tight with.
It's so funny because, you know, you're able to be what I'm used to you being.
Yeah.
In this scenario, in this setting of the podcast.
Yeah.
When we're at shows, it's so different.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that people get this little window of like what you really are.
Right. Yeah, sure.
As far as like a social setting.
Yeah.
Because yeah,
I'm naturally a very quiet person.
You can't, but you've been a lot better.
Yeah,
Josue too.
It. Yeah,
Josue's been getting a lot better about it too.
Yeah, but you went to a concert.
You went to a concert with people. Quote of the day.
Yeah, but I'm like trying to go. I'm trying to expand on that without like laughing, but like
you're good.
Yeah, so
it's not funny.
Yeah, it's not funny.
It's not funny.
Serious. Oh god,
you almost dropped
my
your
phone almost like got knocked the fuck over.
Right.
But like, but yeah, like I got invited to a Dream Theater concert by friends that we've made through the circuit by basic networking that now we've actually like become friends with. So it's like it was specifically. Thomas, we'll put up a little social media link here. He's the drummer for this Bullet for My Valentine tribute band, Waking for Tears.
From Tears, but yeah.
I'm sorry, Thomas. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Waking from Tears. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, man.
They, I can't believe you've done this.
I know. I can't believe you've done this.
Well, they actually do have an Instagram now, so we will put their QR code right here.
Perfect, yeah. Yeah, Thomas is a really, like, great dude. He's such a great guy, man. And fucking badass drummer and just a very chill dude. And, he invited me and a bunch of other drummers from the local scene to, like, I mean, not just drummers. There were a couple of other people there that weren't drummers, too. But, like we all got to go see, Dream Theater with Devin Townsend and Animals as leaders. Fucking mind-blowing concert. Like, oh, my God. one of the best ones I've been to. And... like literally the entire time my eyes were completely glued onto Matt Garska from Animals Leaders and Mike Mangini formerly from Dream Theater. A lot's happened since the last episode. Oh my gosh. Okay, but before we get off of that, we need to go back to Q before we get too sidetracked.
Because we will.
Yes, I do want to talk about that later though.
So yeah, he came in, we were doing these shows, and as we would go out to the car, we would all hang out, it just got more and more apparent that it's like, dude, I think we found our guy.
Yeah.
And it was happening the same way with him, because it wasn't just the whole time we would play this like pretend game. Mm-hmm. Like we would make the scenario and we would talk
the outside. Not so pretend game.
Yeah. We were like, dude, let's play the pretend game and like imagine that like everything works out. Mm-hmm. That's how it would always start. Let's play the pretend game. Imagine everything worked out.
It's cute. It's like y'all are flirting without
exactly.
Y'all are flirting,
flirting with the idea,
flirting and lying to yourselves that you're flirting with each other about him joining the band.
Dude, that's how the best relationships work out.
Hell yeah, man. With a lie. Oh god, my audio thing just had a huge spike when I just laughed.
That's funny. Yeah. So either way, we were talking and. It just got more and more clear that he was going to be the one we went with.
Yeah.
Now we were still trying to lie to ourselves a little bit and be like, we're still going to do auditions.
Yeah, we're still going to be. We're going to honor our commitments, which we did.
We did,
but
I still feel very good about that.
Yeah, but yes, I do too. But I'm not gonna lie. It's like when we did those auditions, I couldn't help but think about Q because because it's like when you. It's like when you find the right one, it's like it's kind of hard to put your eyes towards other people.
It's the how in sync we were right away.
Yeah, and if all of this is sounding like it's like I thought you guys were talking about a bandmate, not like a romantic relationship,
bro.
The lines are very thin with that.
Yeah.
The lines are very thin with that if you're in the right band.
Absolutely. I completely agree. A lot of the same things apply. Mm-hmm. Communication in the most hetero way.
I was about to say, in the most hetero way possible in a group of 4 guys. It's just like...
Nothing against gay people, but we're just not gay.
Yeah, that's just not... Yeah, but anyway. I like that we have to clarify that. That's... Yeah.
Anyways.
Jesus Christ.
But so the lines are pretty thin with that. And the communication thing was there. The work ethic and the drive was immediately there. You could see he was his own worst critic, and he still is.
Yeah. Relatable.
We all are,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it, is that none of us have to like check the other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can trust the musician across from you and to your right and left.
Yeah.
It's great. And then we started. Oh no! The next step was, you know, we're doing these rehearsals, and then Q and I are talking, and it's another one of those days where we're out there talking till like 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, after rehearsal, and he goes, "Hey, I think I'm ready. Like, I think I want, you know, I've talked to Lacey, his wife, and I want to do this. Like, if you guys will have me, I'm ready whenever, if you guys are ever ready to be, like, I want to take on the commitment and be a full-fledged member."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, there's some extra steps we got to talk about as, you know, the rest of the 3 guys, us 3, and like
do an official audition at that point, because
exactly.
because at this point, you know, we're still preparing for the acoustic show during this time that you're talking about, and all of our focuses were on that. We didn't really mess around with any electrics up at this point. At least I don't believe we did. But
we had like 1 or 2. We did it once.
Yeah, we did
as
once.
like a pseudo like halfway audition.
Yeah, but without actually calling it that. But
just
yeah,
to have some fun.
Yeah, just to have some fun. Yeah, and do something different. And you know, but the whole time we've been you know, doing acoustic rehearsals with Isaac and Jen and Q, and you know, it's, you know, we didn't really take a lot of time to do just the 4 of us and do it until you know, this point.
Yeah, and so I remember hearing that, and I think it was like the next day I got a hold of you guys, and said, hey, like, we need to have a full-fledged like integral band meeting.
Yeah.
And so I think we took a Saturday.
Maybe
it was going to be a Saturday that he wasn't coming in.
I'm gonna say that's accurate. I don't actually know.
Yeah, I think it was. I believe that, you know, because we were having to do it, you know, 3 times a week here and 2 times a week here. It was one of the Saturdays I don't think he was able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
That or Wednesday, whatever. It was the day he wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
And so we utilized that time to get together, and like, you guys came over to my apartment, and we sat down and just talked it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
just you, me, and Josue. Yeah, just talking about, like, you know, how we felt about the idea of bringing him in, you know, like how we want to approach it going forward, and like all the, you know, all the businessy stuff.
And the thing is we're not, you know, we're not gonna lie about it. It's hard to trust right away after all that. I mean, like, you know, we're all good with Andrew, but after that, it was a hit, and it was a hit to like, wow, like, we're vulnerable. Like,
yeah, and plus you also have to keep in mind, like, you know, like, since I've joined, it's, you know, it's been, you know, you, me, and Josue.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Like, I mean, obviously Anthony was still in the band at that point, but what I'm saying is,
we could feel the drift,
like,
even from him, though.
Like, yeah, like, what I'm saying is that, like, you know, he left, and then Andrew left. The 3 of us have always been consistent, so it's just like, crap, how much are we willing to trust another person again? You missed. I have a trash can behind me. That's what he was aiming for. He wasn't aiming at my head.
No, I would have hit
him. Yeah. I mean, I don't hope so, but I would hope so, considering I'm like right in front of you.
Yeah, I'd hit you.
But I'd hit that. Very thin. Lines are very thin.
Oh, man. Okay. It made me sweat more. That's funny.
Yeah, right.
Lines are very thin.
Yes, they are. That's what I'm going to title this episode. The lines are very The lines are very thin.
I like that.
Oh,
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a long talk about you know, about Q joining the band, and, you know, everything went great. You know, we had his audition, and, you know, like,
but those concerns were absolutely valid based off of just what we had all been through.
Yeah.
When it comes to members joining and leaving and stuff like that. And it wasn't so much that we were worried about him, like, making it to rehearsals anymore, because he had a great track record of being able to at least make it.
Yeah.
You know, but it was just like, basic concerns, just like, you know, how do we know this is it, and blah blah blah, and, you know, how's everybody feeling, and then eventually we just had to go, you know what, we just got to take a chance.
Yeah.
You know, and give him that full audition, and try and, you know, just see what happens. And I remember us leaving that day feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were like, wow, we have a decision. Like,
yeah,
we can move forward with something. Like there's now light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And we had been just kind of stuck in darkness for weeks,
Yeah,
months.
yeah, because I mean, it was just a very awkward in between period where we're just like, I don't know what's next. What the fuck are we gonna do? You know? Yeah.
Trying to stay serious and
with an incomplete band.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking weird, man. You know.
And we were just about to start doing some really cool things.
Yeah.
You know, we've been taken seriously in the circuit, and we are nothing but grateful and appreciative of all those people who come to our shows.
Of course,
and who take us seriously and have given us advice, and we've learned a lot, and we're eager and ready and hungry to learn more.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, all stops.
Yeah.
Screeching halt right away. And we're like, whoa, what do we do? Like we were just in that workflow mindset of like just trying to get going, and then we just are just up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah, really.
You know?
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, after the meeting.
What?
Do you remember us trying to tell Q like he got the green light?
Oh yeah. Sweet. Because we were throwing around, like, I don't remember how we were throwing it around, but like we've thrown around that expression of like the green light, and I think we did it in front of Q.
Yeah. Oh,
like in passing about like, oh, we haven't given anybody the green light, blah 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 blah.
It was the terminology we were using.
Yeah, it was the terminology we were using. So one day he walked into rehearsal. We we thought it would be funny to like, you know, we had lights on that were all green, and I think we were all holding like on our phones.
Light.
We had like a GIF of like a green light going off, and then he was just like, "Oh wow, a bunch of green, cool, man."
He walked in and was like, "Oh, very green in here." Okay, and then he's like getting his stuff together. And,
like not even noticing. We're just kind of looking at each other.
And he's like, and he walked up. He's like, "Oh, it's a funny GIF. Cool."
We're just like,
"You got the green light."
Yeah.
He's like,
"Oh,
yeah.
oh."
It's like, yeah.
We were trying to be like funny and be like slick with it, but then it didn't work. We had to explain it. Yeah.
That's funny.
But
that absolutely happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, after that it was like, okay, now it's time to have like a big meeting, which what's funny, we still have to have that giant meeting with everybody and the other.
Yeah, because we've had a meeting where it was like just the band, but like, you know, we also have a whole like, you know, a whole team to, you know, consider and to bring everybody up to speed with everything, you know?
You mentioned that, and it reminded me, actually, we had like 2 or 3 meetings with Q after he told us like, it was like 1 or 2 meetings.
Yeah.
With Q after he told us like, yeah, he wants to be in the band, and then we had the open floor like discussion stuff. I remember we were over here on this very table, putting new strings on his bass, and you were sitting over there, Josue's back there, and you guys would just, it was open floor. Anybody could ask anything, any concerns anybody had,
and we all talked about it.
And it was the same with him. He could ask us anything and give any concerns. We all talked about it.
Yeah.
And I think after that meeting, like, it was for sure, like, we were like, yeah, this is the way we're gonna go.
Yeah. And you know, since that time, you know, we've had however much time it's been. I don't know exactly how much time, but
well, it's almost June.
Yeah, I don't remember when all this happened though. What's the thing? Well, I guess it happened.
It was happened after February.
Before. Well, did we officially welcome into the band before the festival happened?
No, I said it was after February.
Really? I thought it was before.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. So
I could be wrong about that.
It was
Q. Actually, we're gonna have Q on.
Yeah. Probably next episode. Probably. But, yeah, but it was around February. We'll just say that it was around February somewhere, vaguely.
Something.
And we're now in June as we're recording.
Dude, this is a big blur.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Big blur.
Yeah. Technically, we're in May, but it's almost June. Close enough.
Yeah.
It's been months.
May 18th.
Yeah.
So, something like that.
Yeah. I keep bumping into the table. It's probably like shaking the camera like crazy. I'm just trying to stretch my leg out in a way that's comfortable.
Nah.
No, not allowed.
Comfort for you.
Not allowed.
But yeah, to sum it all up, you know, Q is our new bass player, and things are going extremely well.
Yeah.
And we just did a photo shoot with him that we've been dropping all these like little.
Yeah, because as of the time that we're recording this, we haven't officially announced that Q is our bass player, and maybe some people who may not like understand or be like they may wonder why we're bothering to do that. Well, the thing is, in our Houston metal community, like it, at a certain point, everybody kind of knows each other on some level.
Yeah.
And just through social media or through talking to each other at shows or playing with each other, whatever. And Q previously, used to play in the same circuit that we're playing in now, like years ago.
It's funny because
people like that we've played with, like, know him. So we kind of want it to be like a nice surprise that he's in, that he's in our band now.
I think he left the circuit in 2019.
Yeah.
We came into the circuit like around 2019, 2020.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So it was
like we kind of just passed each other by.
Just passed each other up. And
yeah. I mean, technically, it was more like 2021 because of the whole, COVID, and all that. Like, we kind of got delayed a bit.
We started the 2020. We did the big show.
Yeah.
And that's actually where Chaz saw us the first time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it is. But
maybe
it ended up working out, because Chaz has given us so many awesome opportunities.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to him the other day. We almost went out for burgers the other day.
Oh,
but
cool.
I had to stay home because it was freaking raining.
Yeah,
and I've got 2 leaks in my apartment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Well, one's under the door and the other one's like a window seal.
Yeah.
So I have to stay home and monitor those if it's going to. And it was.
Y'all got to get out of that apartment at some point.
We are.
Jesus.
We're planning on
it. Yeah.
I mean, I like the place, but it's time to move on.
Yeah.
It happens. But what was I just talking about? Oh, yeah. I mean, you basically just summed it up. Q was in a couple of bands before us in the circuit.
Yeah.
And
so people that we know him is the thing that I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And we want our first show back, which is, in a couple weeks now, exactly 2 weeks from today as we're recording. But, we want it to be, since it's been months since we've been, in the scene, that like we haven't been doing shows like at all this year, Like our last show,
just the acoustic show.
Yeah, our last show that we did in the scene was like at the end of 2023. So it's like, this is very special for us, and we want our comeback to be like big and be a great time, which it will be, and the fact that we get to show off our new bass player for the first time, and nobody really knows except for Derek.
Derek knows.
Yeah, except for Derek, because he took our pictures. He's the photographer.
I mean, and he was at that show.
Yeah, at the acoustic show. Yeah.
I think he's the only one we confirmed. Like, yeah, It was before. You're right.
What was it before?
He was in the band before the show.
Yeah. That's what I thought. What I thought.
Yeah, that just clicked in my head. Like, yeah, because we did confirm with Derek. Like, yeah, he's our
guy.
He's our new bass player. And he was like, what? Holy shit.
Yeah.
But we did a good job of keeping it from Derek for a while.
Yeah.
All the way up to that show.
Yeah, it was so funny, man. Because he was fishing. He was fishing.
People are fishing now. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. But yeah, like our when we were doing the film festival, like I remember, like before we went on stage, like Derek and I were just kind of like sitting at the little snack bar, just like just having some drinks, having some refreshments and whatever, and he was just like, man, Shane's being like he's being really like hush hush about the whole bass player thing, and I was just like, oh, is he? I just drank, and I didn't continue the conversation any further. I was like, oh yeah.
It was tough.
It was very funny.
I think he made like a post right after that.
I'm sorry, I keep bumping the table. Anyway, go ahead.
I think he made a post like right after that. He's like, if you want somebody to keep it secret or something like that, like Shane Holminez is the guy.
That's true.
I was like,
true.
Hey,
he keeps it. This one keeps it close to the chest,
to the tits,
close to the tits,
to the tits. But yeah, we've been talking about this for an hour.
Yeah, we have been.
So, anyways, Q's our new bass player.
Yes,
you're gonna see a lot more of him.
Things are going great.
Yep, and by the time this podcast is out, we will have done our show, and also the rest of our photos from that photo shoot will be out.
Yeah.
We still got like, I think two more like what would you call it, blocks or
Sure. Yeah, blocks of photos that we have
whatever,
yet to show or
my
whatever.
brain just couldn't come up with a word.
I know. I mean, I'm not a photographer, so I don't know.
Packages.
Whatever the term is. Derek, what's the term?
Derek, comment the term.
Comment the term.
What's the term?
Down in the comments section. Do it now. As I'm saying this, you better. I will know if you don't. You can get a nice zoom in on my gross finger right there.
It is gross.
Yeah.
I can smell it from here.
Hey, that's my finger, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's my nose.
That's true.
And you can't pick your friend's nose.
You can't pick your friend's nose. Not without consent, obviously. You know.
Want to find out?
Lines are very thin.
Lines are very thin.
Oh, shit. Those are going to be clips for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, but aside from all that, you know, and, you know, big update, you know, we're back officially doing stuff, and we're going to try, you know,
I won't, gap, man. It's been crazy.
I won't make any strict promises here, but we're going to try to do the podcast on a more frequent basis and actually have more regular episodes out and try to get guests and do all the things.
That was the other thing, too, just to way backtrack just a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
As soon as it was like right after Andrew gave us the news.
Yeah, we kind of stopped everything, including the podcast.
That same day, we talked about it. Like, Andrew left, like, went out the door for a little while, and I was just, like, sitting, like, against the door, just like, oh, my gosh. Like, what do we do?
Yeah, because we were, you know, I mean, and again, I just want to say, like, you know, hey, you know, like, you know, no hard feelings whatsoever, you know, to Andrew, and, you know, best of luck and all that. But, like, at the same time, it, you know, like losing a band member, it's like it's a fucking bummer, man.
It's a hard hit, especially when you're on such a good upward trajectory.
Yeah, and you know this, the whole point of this show is just like, you know, like it's meant to be just another way of like the audience to like, you know, get to know us a little bit, and and for us to, you know, talk to other people in you know, the industry or other creatives, even outside of it, like, you know, the James Fight episode, you know.
Love that.
And, you know, like that's the whole point. So it's like, if we're going through something, like, that's very specifically involved in, you know, our band, it's like, we're not going to be able to keep our mouths shut about it. No. You know what I mean?
No.
So it's just like, we're just like, yeah, we can't
because
really do it for a little bit.
We had to do that in the right way too.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't just fall apart.
No.
We have to keep the structure going.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like a couple days after all that stuff went down, I messaged Andrew. I was like, "Hey man, would you mind making a statement?" You know, and just giving your, you know, just giving the audience something.
Yeah.
And we made that big post with him sitting down outside on the porch, and all three of us with the posters and all that stuff, and
yeah.
You know, it was. But I remember that day, right away, I looked at you and I was like, we got to put a halt on the podcast right now.
And, you know, eventually, you know, we did start putting episodes back out, but they were episodes that we already recorded, like, prior to Andrew, you know, leaving. And so we finally got around to trickling them out, and now that we were able to, like, you know, more efficiently, you know, edit and put these videos together, you know, you got your new PC and all that, and we're able to, you know, do all this. Like, you know, we figured it's like, okay, we can at the very least get better at editing and like trickle out the episodes whenever we can. And we did. And now we're caught up.
We're caught up. This is the first one back, and we have good news.
Yes.
So it's not just like doom and gloom.
Yes, we can. Yeah. Yeah. The show must go on. Yeah.
Absolutely. But, yeah, so that was just a little update on the podcast.
A little hour-long
everything.
Update.
Yeah.
Hey, we had to get it off our chests. We had to. You know.
You're going to hear more about it, too.
Yeah, for sure.
It just is what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
But we'll at least get the majority
of it.
We're
complainers.
We're yeah.
It's okay. I don't care.
Yeah. Complain about it. Why don't you? Jeez. Not gonna. This guy.
Maybe I will.
Yeah. Maybe you will for an hour.
I think we already did.
I think we did that. We both did
good.
that.
We're good.
Yeah. On to other things outside of our band.
Yeah. Moving on.
So we did talk about this a little bit ago, but you know, since we haven't been able to really, you know, do the podcast, or we chose not to, you know, do the podcast, we you know, a lot of music news has like happened that I really want to talk about. A lot of drummer stuff, like Mike Portnoy rejoined Dream Theater.
Yep.
Dude, oh my gosh.
So this is going to be a big section of you because I don't know too much about all of that. I'm not an avid Dream Theater listener like you and Andrew.
Yeah.
But yeah, so give me the rundown.
So the rundown is, quick little Dream Theater history lesson. So Dream Theater, they formed back in college, whenever, Mike Portnoy, John Mayung, and John Petrucci were, all going to Berklee Music College together in, the 90s. And, they formed Dream Theater, got the other members together. Mike Portnoy ended up leaving in, 2008, 2009-ish, something like that, to pursue other projects. And Mike Mangini's been the drummer for a little over a decade now, just as a replacement. And, many people have wanted, a return to Mike Portnoy, mainly just because, he was a founding member.
Yeah.
And, when a big member, change up happens, fans tend to get pretty upset. And, they get a little oh, we miss the old Dream Theater and whatever. First off, Mike Mangini is fucking amazing. And I don't know what the hell any of you guys are talking about.
All the videos you've shown me, he's a monster.
But that being said, I also do have a slight preference for Mike Portnoy, and
that's okay. You can have preference.
And, I love Mangini as well, but there is something about Portnoy's style that I find a little bit more, I don't know what, relatable, I guess is the word that I would use, because Mangini is on such a level to where it's I mean, he is I don't even know how to put it into words really. He's incredible. But Mike Portnoy, there's something about his style that I always got very drawn to in the older Dream Theater stuff where he kind of allows himself to go a little bit more simpler even in a technical band like Dream Theater. And now he's back. And people are really excited about it. He did all those Drumeo videos that were just incredible of just him playing Dream Theater stuff and kind of talking about the history of when he was in the band and kind of where they're at now.
Was it Portnoy that I saw? I think it was him doing a Nickelback song.
Yeah, so that was on there. Yeah.
First of all, that's my favorite album from Nickelback.
Really?
Yeah, Dark Horse.
Is that where it's from?
I believe so. I think,
okay.
Yeah, I
that's
think that's
cool,
Dark
man.
Horse, and it's definitely underrated.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Nickelback. Everybody hates Nickelback.
Yeah, everybody
for some reason.
unnecessarily hates on Nickelback. I mean, look, I get it. Some of the songs are a little cheesy, but
they feel the same. They feel the same way about Five Finger Death Punch too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird dad band.
It's yeah, and it's good.
It's good
Fuck
music.
Off.
I
don't care. Yeah.
Whatever.
I love weird dad bands. I have
absolutely.
I can't really show it properly, but
man, just lean.
There we go. So if you're wondering what that owl was for, that is, I got my first tattoo not that long ago, and it's of a Rush album cover, Fly By Night. It's inspired by that owl. Rush is one of my favorite bands of all time.
Dad bands.
Weird dad band. I love weird dad bands, man. They're great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Whatever, man.
But yeah, Mike Portnoy did a cover of Nickelback because Drumeo has this really cool thing where they'll show drummers songs that they most likely have not heard, ever. They're like, okay, we're gonna show you a drumless version of this song, and you have to write a part to it,
and
of a song that they're not familiar with. And dude, some of the stuff that these drummers come up with for songs that they do not know is amazing. I wish I could remember his name. I'm probably butchering his name, but Dirk Verbeuren, I think is how you say his name, from Megadeth. They had him play
my favorite one.
Yeah.
I was just about to bring that one up.
They had him play the Killers, Mr. Brightside. Was it Mr. Brightside?
I think so. Man, It was so good.
It was so cool and so different from
one.
what the drums are in that song. And then they had Dennis Chambers, very famous funk drummer, play Tool, which was really interesting and really cool. And of course they had Mike Portnoy do the Nickelback song. Was.
And then was it? It was Michael Jackson's drummer did Linkin Park.
I believe so. Yes.
So
yeah,
cool.
that was really cool too. Yeah, with the cymbals he's got behind his head. It's so sick. I love it. But yeah, Mike Portnoy is back in Dream Theater, and I cannot wait because, as I said earlier, I got to see them in concert when Mangini was still in the band. And Mangini is just an incredible drummer, and I love watching him play. but I've never gotten the opportunity to see Portnoy, play either. And Portnoy is...
You are so sweaty, bro.
Dude, I know. I'm very sweaty. I'm listening in the fucking camera right now. But, but Portnoy is one of my favorite drummers, and he was a huge inspiration for me, especially for getting into metal in the first place.
Oh.
Because, it wasn't even through Dream Theater. I mean, it was through Dream Theater a little bit, but, like, how I broke into, like, trying to get better at metal drumming was the Avenged Sevenfold album Nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Which is...
That's right. He did that.
Yeah, which Mike Portnoy does the drums for. Now, he did... excuse me. He did... excuse me. He did work off of demos. Fine line. He did work off of demos, that the Rev had previously recorded, but, he put his own feel and his own spin on it, and, it's Mike Portnoy on the album. And, that was sort of my, like, okay, let me educate myself and learn some of these parts, like, to specifically the song Nightmare. Mm-hmm. And then I started learning some easier, like Dream Theater songs, like, Pull Me Under, or, some more complicated ones like Panic Attack. So, like, Mike Portnoy... very huge development for my, journey as a metal drummer. I love the shit out of Mike Portnoy, and oh my God, I can't wait to see him come back. It's so great.
That's dope, man. Well, I'll have to go to the concert with you.
Yeah. Dude, we absolutely should go.
I'd love
whenever they come into town, we need to.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, bro, could you pass me another water?
Oh gosh. Okay, hang on.
You have to unhook a little bit. I'm sorry.
He's over here dying.
I'm like dying. I'm sweating. I'm excited talking about drums and Mike Portnoy, and I'm like, I need some water.
I'll give you one too.
Coughing all over the place.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, I had to geek out about that a little bit.
Oh, of course. Speaking of drummers, I think you know what's coming up next.
Oh. Yeah. Something I'm not as excited about.
No.
Not excited about it at all.
It's Slipknot.
Yeah.
Right. We'll talk a little bit about Slipknot. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we're going to bring this up more than once on different podcasts and stuff like that. So I'm not
probably into greater detail as well.
Probably, but I don't know, man. Like, okay, one thing I will say. Mm-hmm. I read an article. I don't know if it was Blabbermouth or if it was Metal Sucks or something like that.
Okay.
But I was reading an article based on, and I always mess up his name. What's the new drummer's name?
The new drummer, Eloy Casagrande.
Yeah. So
I may have even messed that up now that I think about it, but we're gonna go with that. Casagrande.
I think so. But I was reading an interview with him.
Oh, with Eloy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was like they were like, so what happened with the whole Sepultura thing?
Oh, so he finally like clarified some things?
Well, basically, like he kind of asked if he could do both, and they said no.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. So he was like,
okay.
They said, no, this is exclusive. And they were going to break up anyways.
Oh.
And so he was like, I either am going to take this job with Slipknot or I'm going to lose the job with Slipknot. So to me, that kind of made me...
That actually changes things.
It changed things a lot for me.
That changes things a lot for his end.
For his end. But to me, it's like, guys...
Keep bumping the table.
Why, like, Slipknot... We get it. You guys are a powerhouse band.
Yeah.
Everybody loves you. You're great.
Yeah.
All your music's great. But the way that they went about that, when it came to switching out that member.
Yeah,
it was a lot of unnecessary stuff.
And yeah.
Like, in my opinion, like, Jay was so good.
He was. And he's a badass.
They have not come out, at least not that I've seen. Mm-hmm. If you've seen it, comment it.
Yeah.
Give us the information. We want to know. Like, but from everything I've seen, there's been no real reason given.
Not a specific one. So the explanations that I've seen, so, Jay Weinberg, got let go from Slipknot. Everybody knows it at this point. And, Eloy's their new drummer, formerly of Sepultura. But from what I've seen, it's all been very vague about, like, the specific reasons. Like, the thing that keeps getting tossed around is, we have a specific musical direction that we want to go into.
That means nothing.
And Eloy fits that, fits the bill. Or, we just felt that, the direction we wanted to go, another drummer would, be a better fit or whatever than Jay. Which, first off,
No.
Ooh, no.
No.
Oh my god, I am so fucking salty about this. Okay. Look, so a lot of people, and knowing that about Eloy does actually make me feel a little bit better about it.
Me too. When I saw that, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
I'm going to say this, and, I know for a fact that other drummers feel the same way that I do, so I don't feel as bad saying about this. Eloy is maybe one of the greatest drummers that we have alive.
I believe that.
And okay. There's footage of him from doing a Guitar Center drum off when he was 14 years old. And
damn.
That performance is so fucking amazing and incredible. And that was when he was when he was 14. When he was 14, he was a way better drummer than I am right now. No hyperbole, no exaggeration. Dude is amazing. He's a master at his craft, implementing these interesting Brazilian rhythms into metal drumming.
Love it.
Because he is Brazilian.
Yep.
That's his roots, and bloody roots. I'm sorry. That was a really bad pun, but it was Sepultura. I had to make that reference. So
yeah.
Just going to let that sit for a minute.
Okay, yeah. Let it marinate.
Anyway, back to what I was saying. I've destroyed any credibility I've had just through that one pun. Yeah, Eloy is a master at his craft. And, a lot of people are very excited to see him in Slipknot. The problem that I have with, Slipknot's vague bullshit statement about we want to go into another musical direction, Slipknot have never changed their sound fucking ever.
That's a good point.
And look, I like Slipknot. I'm not the biggest Slipknot fan, but I do like them, and I have a big appreciation for what they do. Mm-hmm. I have a huge appreciation for the path that Joey Jordison has paved for many metal drummers.
Absolutely.
When he passed away, again, I'm not the biggest Slipknot fan, so when Neil Peart passed away, when Taylor Hawkins passed away, those are two drummers that really meant something very personally to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt even though there are two people that, I have never met, I felt like I was mourning because I lost two of my heroes.
Absolutely.
And even though I personally did not feel the same way for Joey Jordison, I felt like I was in mourning for the drummers that lost their hero. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. And the thing is that just because you weren't a fan at the time or put a lot of stock into, learning about this person at the time, as time goes on and as you get to know and learn more about these drummers or any musicians for that matter, you can still mourn later on.
Yeah.
After it's like people who are just getting into Linkin Park.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
And then they're like, man, it sucks that Chester's gone.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and then you have those douchebags who are like, oh, you weren't there whenever it was all going on and blah, blah, blah.
Dude. Shut the fuck up.
You can still gain that same appreciation and have that same mourning sort of feeling for musicians that are gone. Absolutely.
Because their music is what lives on more than the person. I feel the same way for Kurt Cobain. I love Nirvana.
Yeah.
Nirvana is one of my favorite bands. I wasn't alive when Kurt Cobain passed away. You think I don't wish he was still here?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
That's a really good point. Yeah.
What the fuck kind of bullshit is that? Anyway.
Well, Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, exactly. Another great example.
Is another one that I'm just I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah.
All the way up till I was 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool. I didn't really think of musicians that way until I got to 11, 12 years old to really understand what was happening.
Yeah.
And, as I've grown up and gotten older, I'm like, damn, I wish Randy was here, man.
Yeah.
Dimebag.
Yeah.
Dimebag's another one.
Literally, we could go on.
Yeah.
We could go on. But,
exactly.
But yeah, going back to the whole Slipknot stylistic change, again, I have all that appreciation in the world for what Slipknot have done and what for, what Joey Jordison has done. But, Slipknot have a very consistent sound.
Yeah.
They've never really changed, and it's I understand the idea of wanting to bring in a drummer like Eloy, who is a little bit more diverse and has a little bit more of, different genres to pull from than maybe Joey or Jay had, maybe.
But do it in a way that's
like,
not going to screw people.
Yeah, and it's like, to me, that doesn't give Jay enough credit. Because, okay, Jay, when he was a teenager, mind you, played with Bruce Springsteen. And, you know, his dad was, you know, Bruce Springsteen's drummer, and whenever he couldn't make it to shows because you know, Max Weinberg, you know, Jay's father, also did a bunch of gigs like on like late night talk shows and like was like a band leader and like a few different things, whatever. Yeah. Whenever he couldn't make it, working musician. Whenever he couldn't make it to Bruce Springsteen shows, he said, "Hey, let my teenage son, you know, who's also a drummer, play with you." And like, you think Bruce Springsteen, of all people, is gonna just let a fucking kid come in and like fuck up his show because
there's a lot of money
because
on
you're
the line.
friends with his dad?
No.
The dude had to pull that off, and, you know, and like, yes, he's primarily a metal drummer, but you're telling me that he doesn't have enough skill in his fucking arsenal to like to do what you need him to do?
My thing just quit.
Oh, did your camera just quit?
Yeah. Okay, I have 11 minutes left.
Okay.
So I gotta split these two together.
Okay. So okay, we'll wrap it up. Yeah.
Hang on, we're gonna do it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I just...
No, like, I get it. I understand.
From Slipknot's point of view, I just, like... I don't fucking understand it in any way, shape, or form. Because to me, it's like, if that is actually the reason, which I don't think it is, I think there's just something that they're just not saying for whatever reason. It's like, that is such a bullshit reason that holds no water. And it makes it difficult for me to be excited about Eloy joining Slipknot. Because, yes, Eloy is incredible, and I'm sure... You know, there will be plenty of, you know...
they've already talked about the single they're dropping with them and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they did this whole hype train and kind of like what we're doing right now when it comes to Q. It's kind of funny that both the bands are doing that at this moment.
Right, but, yeah. Obviously on vastly different scales.
Way different scales, but we're on a much smaller scale than them, for sure. But the principle's the same. You know, trying to create hype for a new member. Doesn't matter, you know, what the scale size is. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
And... I've just been online seeing all the stuff that's going on, and nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody cares.
I don't understand it. It's like, how? How do you not understand? Like, and the thing that I really don't understand is that, like, people, like, love to talk shit about Jay Weinberg because he just isn't Joey Jordison. And I'm like, how could they have found a more perfect replacement for him? Yes, they are not the same people. No shit. But, like, watch any video of Jay playing. Tell me that anything he's doing is bad. Like, I fucking dare you. Please tell me anything that he's doing is bad and explain it to me, because I don't get it. I do not get it. Like, and his audition story is so good. Like, I won't go into it because we don't have that much time left. But, like, I won't go into it. But, like, you know, he grew up as a fan of Slipknot and, you know, got introduced to them through his dad and, like, through all these means, you know, eventually became their drummer. It was like, when I heard that story, it was like, literally the stars aligned, like fate. It was like destiny that they ended up coming together, and he ended up being the replacement for Joey Jordison.
Yeah.
And then
his mask was dope too.
Yeah, and his mask was fucking cool. And then Slipknot just is like, fuck that. We're gonna go with this guy because he plays the cool Latin rhythms.
I don't care.
You know what I mean?
I don't care how big you get as a band.
You know what I mean?
If you're willing to throw people away that quickly and not give your audience a reason for it,
yeah, it makes me immediately not give a shit about you.
Makes me lose respect right away.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is what it is. So, anyways, we're gonna go into more of this on another podcast. I'm sure it's going to come up, and more things are going to come up about it. We're going to try
to end it on a weirdly angry note.
No, it's okay. But yeah, I mean, my phone is telling us that we're done with this podcast.
Yeah, unfortunately. But real quick, you know, thank you to everybody who's been who's stuck around with, you know, our band all this time, and we're so happy to, you know, finally come back, and, you know, we're very proud of what we have to show you, and things are only going to get bigger and better from here. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
Much love.
Thank you so much. Much love. And I guess I keep bumping the table when I'm trying to be.
It's sincere.
Sincere. Yeah.
It's okay. No, we love you guys straight up. It
means the world to us.
It really does. I can't even express it into words right now. There's so much that's coming down the pike, and we are just excited to have you guys with us. And we're ready to put out more content, and we're ready to see you guys at shows.
Yeah.
We want to interact with you guys as bad as you guys want to interact with us. So
yeah,
we love you guys, and we'll catch you guys later. Hasta pasta.
Hasta pasta.
Cool. That was a good one.